What did you see?
That's when she disappeared. This might be the worst investigation we've ever done. So would you be willing to tell us what you know about either Betty Lou or Sally Ann Hutton's fateful night? That whole thing just lit up.
Oh my gosh, I missed it.
I swear it felt like something just ran its fingers through my hair.
Sorry, I don't feel good.
"50 years of silence, and today we arrive in Iola, Kansas. Some say their spirits never left, especially at the place behind me, the mortuary, which could have been their final stop. September 30th, 1969, Betty Lou Cantrell would have checked in at work at the very end of these lights down here. She worked at the Dine Out Cafe, and she was in at 4 o'clock in the morning for her morning shift. She was last seen by a police officer at 4:30 a.m. Between 4:30 a.m. and 5 a.m., she would go missing. Her car would be stolen, and she would be found days later, dead in the Elm Creek. I just want to point out how close the mortuary is right behind us to the final place that Betty Lou would have been seen alive. Tonight we're here at the Sleeper Mortuary in Iola, Kansas. Tonight's objective is to try and see if we can dig up any information about 2 cold cases from the year 1969. 2 women would go missing within walking distance from this spot. They would be found days later dead. Now we're not sure if the 2 women had their services in this building. Now the objective of tonight's investigation is to see if we can find any information regarding these 2 women. We know that many of the people from the town would have gone through this building at some point in their life because there wasn't many funeral homes around. We're here to see if any of these spirits have something to say, or if one of the victims can come forward and tell us themselves. Okay, so I'm here with the owner of the Sleeper Mortuary.
Hello.
Introduce yourself to the camera, please.
My name is Tori, and I am the owner of Sleeper Mortuary.
So Tori is going to show us a few of the hot spots, tell us what happens in them, and we'll tie all of this back into why it matters later on. So where are we standing right now?
So you're standing in the original chapel of the second building. So the first building burnt down in 1915. This is the building that replaced it, and it's built in 1920. So this is the original chapel. This is where all of the funerals were held. Back in the day, the whole chapel was lined with church pews, is how it was originally set up. And this is where they would have the deceased for viewing and funeral services.
So what's really interesting about it is this town is so small and there's very few funeral homes. So it's not a grand statement to say that almost everyone in the town has been in this building at some point over its tenure of time. Would you say that that's
I would say that's a pretty fair assessment, yeah.
So she has records of a period of time from this building that equate for 2,700 people that would have had a funeral here, but that's not including everyone. With the 2 victims that we're looking at currently, my thought process with this room especially is someone that knew something about that night probably sat their butt in this room. So I think this is a place that we definitely need to start tonight to see what we get. But talking about activity, what do you normally get in here?
A lot of people have talked about hearing disembodied whistles in this room.
Okay.
That's been a common, I want to say probably 2 or 3 groups now have reported disembodied whistling in this room. They get a lot of heel to toe footsteps that walk the length of the chapel, especially when people are sitting on the other side of the door in the hallway there and leaving this room empty. I know that I've heard disembodied voices in this room, as well as footsteps. So tripwire lights work really well in here. We had a group here one night that had a 12-foot tripwire here, and they had the 32 or 36 that ran down the length and a REM pod at the end. In a span of about 2 seconds, it hit every single node down this one and every single node down that one and hit the REM pod at the end.
Now, this is probably the creepiest room in this place because of what went on in this room. We're currently standing in the embalming room, and a lot of it is still original to how it was left, and there's no drain, so we're thinking that they possibly used the sink here to empty folks out. But what have you had happen in the embalming room here?
I know there's been several instances where people have gotten EVPs of "Don't Hurt Me," the bad man. They have also picked up Eliza in this room. There was a group that had, I think it was an SB7 going, and they asked, "Are you Eliza?" And on the spirit box it said, "I'm Eliza," and it was very, very clear.
So do you think the 2 most prominent spirits that you have here would be
Eliza and Lyman.
Eliza and Lyman?
Yeah.
So Lyman was the original constructor. Mm-hmm. His last name is Sleeper, that's where he gets the name. And then his wife, Eliza. So you've had a lot of stuff come through about those 2. I'm interested to see if by just asking for anything and everything to come forward, especially with us trying to get info about what we're looking for tonight, if the responses will be different. So we're standing in the casket storage room right now. This would have been where they had all of the displays for people to pick between caskets. Now we're not sure if either of the victims had their service here. We can't find the documentation yet. But if they did have their service here, their families would have walked this very room to pick out the caskets that they would eventually lay in. Right up here is the floral room, which is probably one of the most active spots in this entire mortuary. So what have you had happen in the floral room?
So the floral room has been the hot spot of activity. I personally have experienced full disembodied sentences. I was sitting there investigating with a friend of mine one night, and I heard a female in my right ear that said, "I want you to go." And it was very, very clear, and it was very, very loud. And we happened to catch that on a recorder that was sitting across the room. Now, the person that I was with did not hear it. And that's kind of like the funny thing about in there is like one person will hear the disembodied voice while the person next to you doesn't hear it at all. About 4 hours into owning the building, we caught one of the most epic EVPs I've ever caught in my career. And it was like two spirits talking together, and their voice had a human tone to it. It had timbre. It wasn't like a whisper. And one of them said, "Are they dead yet?" And the other one said, "They're cold." Which to me, kind of like, to put it in context, you're sitting in a flower room. You know, are they talking about dead flowers? And
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, I mean, they could have been talking about
Body.
yeah. But yeah, so a lot of disembodied voices. A lot of people see, when they're sitting up here, they see a shadow person against that curtain wall back there, walking back and forth. And it's dark enough that they can see it in the dark. Disembodied whistling in this room as well. We do believe that Eliza hangs out in the flower room. We've caught her a lot up there.
Do you think the haunting here is more residual, like things just kind of happening for whatever reason on like a replay, or do you think it's more intelligent in the capacity that it's responding to you?
I think it's a mixture of both. I know that there are some interactions that I have had, especially when you're here super late, because when you think about a business and they're open no later than like 7 o'clock when they're doing services or whatever that time would be, this is typically an empty space, and now we're bringing people into it. And like the "I want you to go," it was 3 o'clock in the morning when that happened. And so to me, that's an intelligent response to, "You're in my space and I don't want you here anymore because you're bothering me."
Yeah.
So I want you to get out of here.
So I think we should go up to the flower room so you guys can see how much I don't fit in this room. Okay, I'm having to like, this is a funky lean.
Stand up all the way?
I can't.
You can't. Without the hat, you barely fit. With the hat, you don't fit.
Do you want to sit in the chair?
No, I'm okay. I'll be the crooked neck lady.
Yeah?
So you
this
said
is-
this is where you get the best EVPs.
Yes. And I always encourage people to look back on their footage, because 9 times out of 10, they get a crap ton of EVPs within their videos.
And this is where people would have picked out their flowers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So from what I understand and what I was told, a lot of the families, the flowers were made in-house, like the bouquets and the arrangements and things like that. And this is where that took place.
Okay.
This is not really a good joke, but if you ever want to go into business, weddings, funerals, they're always going to be
Happening.
in demand. So
Yeah.
take advice from me. I just want 2%. So now we are standing in what is believed to be the second viewing room. Now what's interesting about this floor is that it has been remodeled since its original construction, but we do know that funerals did occur on the second floor. So if the victims had a funeral service here, it could have been this very spot. Now what do we have behind us?
So this is a mid to late 1800s Oddfellows casket. These caskets were never made to be. Did you hear that?
I thought I heard something behind you actually.
Yeah, I heard it too. These caskets were never made for burial. They were made more for ceremonial purposes. I do know that this casket was occupied. This person was buried in the mid 1990s sometime in Iowa.
Look in there. That is some part of a person
Yeah.
that is left in this
Yes, so all of that staining is human biological material.
Okay, in terms of activity, what do you have happen in this room?
I don't know that I would really narrow it down to this room in particular, but on the second floor, we do hear a lot of disembodied female voices. Most of the time, it's like singing or humming. I have caught that on security camera. A lot of people report footsteps walking up and down the hallway when they're trying to sleep. That's a common thing. But a lot of the stuff that is caught on the second floor and in this room is audible evidence of some sort.
Okay, so we'll definitely have to try and see maybe Estes up here, an EVP session, but we have hit our hotspots. Now we have to dig into this thing and see if we can get any answers as to what's going on and see if any of this makes sense to the 1969 case that was never solved. So tonight we're gonna start our investigation inside of the main viewing room. Now with this town being as small as it is, the reason I wanted to start in here is because I feel like at some point anyone and everyone from this town would have been in this building. Now we're trying to find information in regards to the two girls that disappeared in 1969. This case has not been solved. It is still an open case and it's a mystery to this day. Many people have theories that someone local did it. There's this accusation that took place with someone being drunk and he confessed, but they couldn't hold it against him because he was drunk in his confession. There's a whole thing surrounding this case, but there's not really any answers. So we're standing here decades later trying to see if something from the other side can give us any insight as to what happened. So Betty Lou was 28, Sally Ann Hutton was 14. Absolutely horrible, horrible story. If you know anything about either of these cases, I will include the number for the Kansas Bureau of Investigation down in my description because they're still open and they're still looking to solve these, and I think the family deserves the closure.
I feel like it's important to say the family did not ask us to come here.
Yeah, we were not asked to come here. This is one that I, out of my own research, found, and I thought it should be brought to light and more attention should be put on it because I want to do stuff like this where we can highlight some history and also maybe find some help for some folks.
But we're trying to be as respectful as possible.
So we have some equipment out, but the whole emphasis of this investigation is to see if we can get any information in regards to what happened to Sally and Betty Lou. Now, the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, from the reports that I've read, does not believe that these cases were linked even though they happened days apart, but we're gonna see what we get tonight. Okay, my name is Kalani, for any of the spirits here that can hear my name.
I'm Savannah.
And we're here tonight with a very specific and intentional purpose. That's our motion device.
That just went off.
Thank you to whoever walked into the room with us here. Now we're here to try and get some information about a little girl named Sally Ann Hutton and a young woman named Betty Lou Cantrell. So if anyone has any information about these two women, maybe you know what happened to them, maybe you knew them, or maybe Betty Lou or Sally could be here with us.
Yeah.
We're inviting anyone and everyone to come speak with us tonight because we're just trying to get answers as to what happened to both of them. So before we start those questions, I'm just asking for anything to come into the room to give us a sign of your presence.
Maybe something did come in the room and that went off.
We have an EMF tripwire here that detects electromagnetic fields, which people believe to be associated to paranormal activity or spirits. We have a motion device that's using ultrasonic technology to pinpoint the wall in front of it. And if anything. No. Hello.
Hello.
We have SPI going, which is using artificial intelligence to scan the radio frequencies that are going on around us. And we have a polterscript device here that will give us words based upon readings that it's picking up. Something just came into the room again.
Hello.
Welcome in.
We don't mean you any harm, any disrespect.
Now again, I'm looking for any information regarding Betty Lou or Sally Ann Hutton. We're just asking questions to try and help. So if you have any information that maybe you took to the grave, something's in and out of this door.
Yeah. Maybe they're a little skeptical. It's also important to note this is a fairly new location. Maybe things here are not quite used to communicating.
So let's just ask something basic. Was Betty taken from the diner right down the road? I want to say the name of it was the Dine Out Cafe.
That's kind of weird.
If you know the answer to that, I have this blue device here that can say yes or no. So you can answer our questions if you'd like.
Or we can just start by asking, are you willing to communicate with us? If so, can you indicate on that blue device right there, yes or no?
Or make a noise in this building. Look. Thank
It's
you.
like something's hovering right there, like it doesn't
It's like something
quite-
doesn't want to come in. I'm inviting anyone and everyone to come in, so please step through the doorway and join us here in the viewing room. Do you know who took Betty? You don't have to be afraid to answer. I don't know who you are, you don't know who I am. But
Yes.
Whoa.
you know. Am I speaking with Betty or Sally? If this is Betty or Sally, can you please select yes? If this is someone that just knew what happened, can you please select no? It's a really weird, unsettling feeling in here.
Yeah.
Like almost uncomfortable. But it is weird how that went off
At the
and
same
that went
time,
off at the
yeah.
same time. Something is interacting. If this is Betty or Sally, please select yes. If this is someone else that knew what happened to either of them, please select no. It's crazy how something keeps moving in and out.
Yeah.
I will step away from this device, so I hope you feel more comfortable.
You don't have to be afraid to come in the room.
This just said even if I could tell you. I need you to try and speak a little bit clearer. I don't know what even if means. Again, we're just looking for your help because it's been decades and no one has been able to figure out what happened to these two women. So we're here tonight to try and get answers. So would you be willing to tell us what you know about either Betty Lou or Sally Ann Hutton's fateful night? That whole thing just lit up.
Oh my gosh, I missed it. Dang it. I bet we got it
We
on
have it on
infrared.
that camera right there. Something just lit up that entire line right after I asked if it'd be willing to communicate.
Wow.
I feel like maybe Estes might be the easiest medium here.
Possibly.
So if you're not familiar with the Estes method, one of us will go under a spirit box and listen for anything to come through while the other person is asking questions on the outside. What I feel like might be good, Savannah, is if you go under, because if it is one of them, I feel like they would be more comfortable speaking to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, if it's a man that knows something, they might be more comfortable speaking to you too. Savannah looks a lot better than I do.
No, I don't.
So let's get set up for Estes and see if we can make connection to whatever's in here that's willing to communicate with us. So as I told you guys, Savannah is about to put on noise canceling headphones and she's linked to a spirit box. I'm gonna be asking questions outside here in hopes that whatever's here can communicate through her. So if you can hear my voice, my wife is going to be using this black device, and if you would like to manipulate the radio waves coming through to give us your message, we'd be willing to hear it. So here we go. I'm asking for anyone here to come forward with information about Betty Lou Cantrell or Sally Ann Hutton. So if you would be willing to share some information that you have, please communicate that with us. Do you know what happened to either of them the night they went missing?
Is he here?
I don't know who he is. If you're referencing the man that did it,
Man.
she said the man.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not aware of another man being here. I don't know if there's another
When?
spirit. Twin. Did he have a twin brother?
Halt.
Halt. Who am I speaking with right now? My name's Kalani. I'm from Nashville. What's your name? You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm just here to try and help.
Angry.
Are you angry?
No.
No, I'm not angry.
No hidden something.
I'm trying to uncover the truth of what happened here, so if you can help me do that, that would be great. I'm gonna sit down right here.
Must be talked about.
Must be talked about. That's what I'm trying to do. So in 1969, 2 women went missing and both of them died in that frame of time. So if you can give me some information about what happened that night, maybe who did it, that's what we're looking for. So did you know Betty Lou? I thought I just heard something.
Follow that something.
I just heard something in the hallway and she just said follow that. Am I supposed to follow the noise?
Yeah.
I've got goosebumps. Where am I supposed to follow you to?
I have a very unsettling feeling right now. My stomach is kind of feeling a little queasy.
Is the man responsible for either of those deaths alive? I promise I'm not here to hurt you or scare you. I'm just trying to get answers. Do you know what happened to Betty Lou the night she went missing from work? I just heard a beeping sound out there. Is that the noise you want me to follow?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I'd rather be on my own.
Looking.
What did that just say? I'd rather be on my own. I'm not trying to disturb your peace. I'm just trying to bring peace to people that lost someone in '69. I'm looking.
Afraid?
I'm not afraid. You are freaking me out a little bit, but I'm not afraid.
I was.
You were afraid. I just heard something out by the truck. Is this Betty or Sally? Am I speaking with Betty or Sally right now? You said you were afraid. You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm just trying to help uncover what happened to you. If this isn't Betty or Sally, can I have your name?
No.
No? You don't want to give me your name? I promise I won't tell anyone what you tell me here. If you're not comfortable giving me your name, tell me what you know.
You can. Look.
Well, I need your help in finding something.
I'm Edward.
Hello, Edward. Edward, do you know something about Betty or Sally?
Yes?
Which one?
The hair?
What about the hair?
The hair.
Something to do with her hair. Sometimes people that take other people's lives, there's weird characteristics that they look for. A lot of
From another world?
their victim types sometimes share similar characteristics. I can't really place their photos right now, so I don't know if that's a thing, but let's note something about hair. What about their hair?
I got it.
So do you know who did it?
Oh my gosh, it felt like something just grabbed. I swear it felt like something just ran its fingers through my hair.
You do not have permission to touch Savannah. Did you do it, Edward?
I'm getting that nauseous feeling again. I don't like it.
Edward, did you murder someone?
No one touched. Oh, my whole body is sweating.
Edward, if you didn't do it, do you know who did?
I like it.
You like what? I don't like this.
I really don't feel
I don't like
good.
this Edward individual. I don't know if he has something to do with it, but
Oh, I feel like I'm lightheaded.
I just felt something behind me. I heard it. You want us to follow you into the next room? Is that what you were telling me, Edward? Give me a sign.
I'm not feeling so great. I'm not feeling so great. I need to get some water.
I got some water right here. You're sweating.
Yeah, I'm like, my hands were dripping sweat. Like, my whole body's sweaty. I don't like.
There was a male voice that came through and he said the name Edward. So I don't know if he was the one communicating with us, but I asked him if he knew something about either one of them and their murders, and he said the hair. And then he said the hair again.
And then after I said the hair, it felt like something ran their fingers through. Sorry, I don't feel good. Maybe I need to like go outside.
Maybe we need to go outside for a second. Let's. And then what's really weird is on the SPI device, it said I'd rather be on my own. So the first thought, maybe theory that's coming to my mind is, what if this Edward individual is the one that did one of them at least, and he's trapped here, or his spirit is lingering here. He can't find peace because of what he did. So he might be upset that we're in the space, saying I'd rather be on my own, making you feel uncomfortable to the point where you want to leave.
I don't remember the last time that investigating has made me feel like that. Made me feel like I feel like my whole body is just like drained of all the energy. I feel like I'm on the verge of crying.
Oh, that's an automatic lock.
I feel like I'm on the verge of crying, and I feel like there's something constantly like over my shoulder in there. And then whenever I felt the hands in my hair, I was like, I just felt like something was behind me. And then I felt the hands in my hair, and that confirmed it. And I just do not feel good at all.
Well, and it's also really weird, when we started the session, something said, is he here? So I don't know if the spirits here are afraid of whoever he is or don't like being around him. But it's almost like it started off pretty normal, but then whenever this Edward individual came in, everything kind of shifted. The atmosphere changed. And then there was a sound in the hallway, and you told me to follow the noise.
Earlier, Tori said to us, you know, like, I think that it's like happy hauntings here, whatever. And walking through here with her, it did feel like that until we started investigating, and I get like an oppressive feeling in there.
Well, and no one that's investigated here has investigated for what we're going for tonight. So I don't know if bringing these stories up or something about these stories has something here making us feel very uncomfortable, causing equipment to go off, and it's not happy that we're asking these questions.
I'm like sucked of so much energy that I feel like I can barely stand up.
Now we're starting our session inside of the room where the casket displays would have been. This also has the floral room up here, where the owner says is the most active room in this place. Now, while we were moving our equipment, I actually looked up to see if Edward had any significance to the Sleeper Mortuary or Iola. Turns out there was an Edward Sleeper. I think he was related to the original family that started this mortuary, and he was actually alive during 1969. So does he know anything? I'm not sure, but we're gonna ask some more questions, see if we can get any more response. At the end of this room, I have a motion-activated music box. It will play a sound if something crosses its detection range. And then we also have a motion-activated ball here that will light up. We have our infrared here shooting on the room. So people have reported seeing a shadow figure at the end of this room. If it moves, I'm hoping we can catch it on that. But we're gonna go up to the floral room now.
And I am still
Savannah's not feeling great.
feeling real
So
bad.
we had, I'd rather be on my own or I'd rather be alone that came through in the other room. I don't know if that's Edward trying to get us out of here or if he knows something and the other spirits here don't like being around him.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure as to what's going on, but it was really weird when we found Edward Sleeper's name after getting the name Edward.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anyone from the Sleeper family is here with us tonight. I know Eliza likes to spend time in here. I know Lyman likes to spend time in here. And we've gotten the name Edward tonight. We're asking if anyone has any information regarding Betty Lou or Sally. Betty Lou Cantrell or Sally Ann Hutton. Two girls went missing in 1969, and they would be found dead a few days later. Now, Edward, if you're still here with us, can you come through on the silver device and give us a sign that you're hearing what I'm saying and are able to respond? Edward, do you have information about the disappearances of either of those girls?
Malone.
Is that a name that you just gave us? We're just trying to bring a little closure to this entire thing because it's been so long and it still hasn't been solved. So if you can help us tonight, that would be absolutely great. Can you give us another sign that you're still present in the room with us? Try and use a little bit more energy to speak with us. We thought we heard you. Can you make that noise again? Ending EVP. I don't know how to explain it, but I have like tears in my eyes and like an overwhelming like sense of emotion.
Are you okay?
Yeah, that's really weird. I thought I heard something down there.
I definitely heard something down there.
This is really weird. This is a really weird space, and I think
I don't like
it
it.
felt fine earlier, but now that we're trying to like dig into this, it's felt different. Let's play this back and see if anything sticks through. A few knocks. The same things we heard out here, but I didn't hear any voices. What's interesting with that word that came through, Malone, it's spelled M-A-L-A-O-N. I wonder if that has some sort of other meaning.
I think that this is one of the most unsettling places I've ever been.
It means for a long time, in the end.
Huh.
And I was talking about how long it's been since there's been any kind of closure. I feel very uneasy. None of the equipment has gone off down there, but I will say in this room, it feels different than where we were in the other viewing room. I don't know. There's something here that knows something. Like, I can feel that. I don't know who or what it is, but there's something here that it's interacting with us as we bring up more of this story. Mm-hmm. And maybe just sitting here talking about it, letting this run might be like a good idea. But Betty Lou is working right down the road, like we pointed out, and she was going in for her breakfast shift. And as she went in for her breakfast shift, a police car drove by at about 4:30, and that was the last time she was seen alive. Her other employees were coming in at 5 o'clock. This is for breakfast shift, and her car was gone, all the lights were off, and she was nowhere to be found.
That's terrifying.
What that says to me is that someone went into the restaurant, the diner, turned off all the lights, and...
I literally can't even think about it without getting chills. That scenario, I can't.
And that's when she disappeared. And they... What was that? Like the room, just like...
I'm literally terrified.
We're talking about the story of what happened to her. And like, it's so sad to think about. And they found her in the river.
Oh, I actually do not.
A couple days later, and she was drowned.
I do not feel okay.
And what's even worse about this story is that someone left her there.
Just listen.
This might be the worst investigation we've ever done. In terms of how I feel.
Yeah, I feel
like actual fear.
Absolutely petrified. And I currently have, you guys can't see, but I have tears.
But someone wanted her body to be seen.
And what about Sally?
And Sally, 14-year-old girl, went to a junior high football game. She left with a man, and that was the last she was ever seen again. And there wasn't enough eyewitness account, no descriptions that could help put someone behind bars. Mm-hmm. So it's just sat unsolved for decades. This is kind of terrifying. Like the fact that we're talking about Betty's story, and then all of a sudden it feels like the room shake.
I'm absolutely.
Right here. This camera should have picked that up. I just sent the owner a text to see if she could check the cameras.
I don't know how much longer I can make it in here.
This place is actually terrifying.
I don't know how much longer I can make it. I mean, I'm like miserable.
She's checking the cameras right now. Let's play this back really quick.
That's when she disappeared.
Right when I said that's when she disappeared. So, the owner just texted me, said the building's clear from what she can see, but the weird thing is that the infrared camera isn't working in the chapel now, which has never happened, so she can't see in there. So let's go take a look at the chapel really quick. I'm gonna leave this camera in here in case something happens. I don't know what's up with this camera. Maybe I'll try and unplug it, plug it back in. Now the light's back up. But you saw that it was plugged in.
Yeah. Now it's plugged back in again.
This has been one of the most unnerving investigations we've ever done. Like, I feel something here that I've never felt at any other place. Like, something is like trying to tell me something so hard, but it's just like, I've done a lot of scary places that are supposed to make me run out, but this is the only one that I've really ever felt so uncomfortable to a point where I want to be done. But I want to go do one more session up in the other viewing room because that's what I told myself we were gonna do. But this place, something's off here. And I think with us bringing up this story, the spirits here, something is triggering something. Because the moment we're talking about that story and all of a sudden the room shakes, that's not normal. We're in the second viewing room now, and this is where their service could have been held. It's either this room or that room if they did happen here. We don't know for 100% sure, but there's a lot of records that we don't have access to that we might have to dig a little bit deeper for. But what we can say is that someone that knew them has been in this room and the room downstairs before, or the very person that could have done these atrocious things could have sat in this very place.
Because this is a small town.
I think right now there's about 5,000 people that lived here, and back in that time there was about 6,500. So this is definitely one of those places where
You know
everyone knew everybody.
Yeah.
So for something like that to happen, it makes it feel like something was covered up. Maybe someone knew something and they kind of swept it all under the rug. Very possible that something like that could have happened. I'm not saying it did, but with a town this small, everyone knows everyone, and the fact that no one could identify the man that Sally went off with is pretty weird.
Yeah.
Because people are not just stumbling into Iola.
No.
This is an EMF bell. If something activates this bell, it's because it's picking up an electromagnetic field surrounding the bell. We think that spirits might be able to manifest themselves either with EMF or through EMF. We're not 100% sure, but this is the theory we're running with. This device over here sets a field around the antenna, and if something enters this field, causes that light to play for us. So the reason we're in this room again is because I feel like if someone knows something, they could still be here. Or it could be Betty, it could be Sally, or the person that did these.
No way.
The moment I said the person that did, it hits. Are we still speaking with Edward?
No.
That was fast.
Okay, this isn't Edward. Do you know what happened to Betty or Sally? There's a motorcycle outside, but something just hit the bell. Okay, so you're telling us that you know something. Would you be willing to use this blue device to answer some questions? We've gotten the name Edward tonight, and when we started talking about Betty's story, something interacted with us and almost made us leave.
Yeah.
Has the killer of either of these women passed away?
Ask it again.
Has the killer of either of these women passed away?
Yes.
What did I say to you earlier?
You think he's here?
Yes. I think with things like this, there's like a gray area of making speculation, but I personally, just based off of my feeling, feel like we talked to someone tonight.
If they didn't do it, they know it. They know
Or
something.
they know something. And I feel
And now it's gone quiet.
I feel really concrete in that.
There's something here.
In the way
and
that
it's
you
and it's
feel.
interacting.
No.
There's something here that's interacting with us bringing up their two names. And if anyone from their family is watching this, we're trying to see if we can get any kind of answers from the other side. We don't mean any disrespect to you, your family, or the horrible situation that happened.
Not at all.
But with my platform, I wanted to bring more spotlighting to this case because it's been unsolved since 1969.
And Kalani and I were saying downstairs, like, I can't even imagine going through that, and
No closure.
There's no closure, and I know for myself, I would never stop looking.
And like grief's one of those
consume me.
things that if you know exactly how someone passed away and all the details,
There's one way to deal with it, you know. You at least know.
you at least know. It's still hard. It's still grief, and there's no route map to figuring it out. But imagine not knowing and having that, what if, who was it, that those questions just lingering.
You would feel uneasy for the rest of your life. Unsettled. What?
Okay, no. I think I just saw something.
What? What did you see?
It looked like a shadow moving. It was moving from right to left. So this room is filled with a bunch of old items that have a ton of different stories with them. But I swear I saw something move from there to there because it blocked out that green light. We looked it up, and Iola is the 4th most dangerous city in Kansas. So I think we're already on edge because of that. But then you combine the fact that there's something here that just doesn't feel right. And now my brain is like very jumpy. It says for shared love. It is weird how that only came through when we were down there. Okay, I want to use dowsing rods. I'm not sure how you guys feel about dowsing rods, but we've had some really cool stuff happen while using them. And I want to look down this hallway to see if we have that happen again. This place is wild. And I think it's also because of the story and the history that we're talking about that I'm already kind of on edge. All right, I'm asking for any of the spirits here to come forward and use these rods in front of me to communicate. Can you cross these rods to show me a yes? Thank you. Do you have any information about Betty?
Okay.
Do you know what happened to Sally? So you only know what happened to Betty. Is that what you're telling me? So they only know what happened to her.
Huh.
The Kansas Bureau of Investigation said they don't think the cases are connected. But it's just very weird timing. The fact that it was within days of each other. And in a place like this, I just feel like that's so crazy that it wasn't connected.
Yeah. And you know what I think about this too? I think that this is not a one night thing.
Now this might be something we have to come back and dig more, go to maybe the historical system.
Yes.
They want us to dig more into this.
Yeah. I don't think it's like we found the answer. Right, here you go, guys.
No, I think...
It's a deeper thing than
But
that.
I think, for some reason, I have the feeling that something here wants us to keep searching. I don't know if Betty's here. I don't know if Sally's here. If someone knows them is here. But they deserve closure.
Yeah.
And I feel like if my spirit was out there and no one knows what happened to me and how I went, and my time was just cut like that.
Maybe for yourself in the afterlife, it doesn't matter, but you would want that closure for your family that's still alive.
Well, and I feel like that's enough to keep a spirit from resting. Not saying that did happen. They could have went on wherever we go.
But that is true.
But I think that could be enough to hold something here that, they were taken out in such a violent way and their life was ended so short. That might keep them here.
Yeah.
Maybe not in this building, but in the area. I don't know. It feels like there's something more to this story that we need to try and dig into. We got the name Edward, which he's apparently related to the Sleeper family. He could have some involvement or he could know something, right? So that's what's tough about this is we're just getting fragments of information trying to create a puzzle that we don't even know exists.
A puzzle that we don't know how many pieces are involved to it.
No.
Is it behind you?
What?
I thought I heard movement.
I don't know.
But it does seem like whatever's here knows something about Betty. It seems like when we mention Betty's story, what happened to Betty, the equipment interacts, something interacts in the building. If we're still speaking with Edward, did you know Betty?
Yes.
Do you know what happened to Betty? Either use these rods in my hand or set off a piece of equipment. Do you know what happened to Betty? Can you just confirm with another piece of equipment that we have out that you do know what happened to Betty? Or some information that could help us? Oh.
No.
Show me where you are in the room. Point to where you are with these rods. Show us.
Maybe in that chair.
Are you sitting next to me? Okay, it says you're over by the bell. Can you ring the bell? Just ding the bell for us so we know that that's where you are.
Please don't leave.
I don't like that.
That just said, please don't leave.
I don't like that.
You don't want us to leave? If we come back here, can you help us uncover the truth?
Yes.
If we come back here, they'll help us.
This has been an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Fear. I felt like I was crying.
I feel sick.
I think what I want to do is just visit their grave sites and just pay them respects. I do want to come back here. I don't know how you guys are feeling about watching this video, but let us know down in the comments if you've enjoyed this one. I feel a calling to come back here. I want to dig more into the history. I want to dig more into what we can find, but I feel like those two girls deserve justice.
Yeah, for sure.
And if something on the other side can help us bring that comfort to their families and closure to their story, I want to try my best to help. But I don't think I can take any more
I can't
emotionally
either.
tonight.
I'm done
Like,
for tonight.
Savannah was begging me to leave, guys. Like, she She's looking a
I'm
little
looking
flustered.
rough, and I'm feeling rough, and I don't feel any better than I did downstairs. It's been a struggle to power through this. And I think to get any kind of like good information, evidence, have the energy for it, this is something, like I said earlier, that it's not a one night thing.
This might be a location that we come back to and spend several nights over a week to try and see if we can dig a little bit more.
Maybe bring somebody with us.
Bring a psychic or something with us to try and help us get some answers. But this place is terrifying.
It is the most unnerving place I've ever been.
And we're not saying that lightly. We tried to keep this as mellow and respectful as possible because of what we're talking about tonight. We're not trying to dramatize anything. We're not trying to take advantage of a bad situation. We're just trying to get answers. And this is the most uncomfortable I've ever felt on an investigation. I keep saying that, but this place has something to it.
I wish I could, and maybe you feel it from home, I wish I could portray to you through the camera what it's felt like to be here tonight.
So with that being said, if you see or hear anything that we missed in editing, please comment it down below, because you guys can sometimes pick up and see stuff that we miss. Let me know how you like this episode. Please give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. I'm Kalani.
I'm Sav.
And this was our night at the Sleeper Mortuary in Iola, Kansas. We came here looking for answers, hoping the dead would speak where the living could not, and maybe they did. We asked if someone remembered that night, we asked who hurt them, and we heard things. A name, possibly a voice crying for help. Were they Betty? Were they Sally? Or just echoes of pain left behind? Betty Lou Cantrell, a mother, a worker, a woman whose final shift ended in silence. We heard your story tonight. To Sally Ann Hutton, just 14 years old, taken too soon, you were never forgotten. And maybe, after all these years, someone is finally listening. We didn't solve it, but we came to remember, to ask, to open the door for truth. Rest now, girls. We'll keep telling your story until someone finally answers.